The key to mistakes is you learn from them, and you may make them once, twice, learn from them and not make it again. I make mistakes every day. Even after 60 years in business, you learn to make sure that once you recognize the actual mistake that you made, that you learn from it, you correct it, and you pass it on to others that may make the same mistakes so that they're in sync to not making it. And that's the key.
Yeah. Welcome to the Self-Care Goddess podcast, where healing stories, practical self-care strategies, and science-backed tools to regulate stress, feel calm, grounded, and energized come together to help you reclaim your vitality. I'm your host, Rita Savoya, holistic nutritionist, trauma-informed breathwork coach, and founder of Breathwork Barista. This podcast is for women who are ready to restore their energy and radiance, reconnect with their bodies, reawaken their inner power, and redefine self-care as a way of being. Through science meets soul practices, restorative mind-body tools, and real stories of transformation, we'll explore how true well-being can help you live with more joy, vibrant health, and authentic connection to yourself and those you love. Take a deep breath in, let it go, and let's begin. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Self-Care Goddess podcast with today's theme, a life of impact, what it really means to lead, give, and leave a legacy. With our special guest here today, before I introduce him, as you know, on this podcast, we like to walk the talk. So let's just take 2 minutes out of our busy life, always in our mind, keep going. I invite you to just follow your breath. So if you can, either lower your gaze or even close your eyes just to really tune out what's going on, and then tune in with your body and any sensations that you may be feeling in the body. How do we tune in? Maybe following the inhales, flowing in through the nose, feeling the expansion, the optimization of this beautiful lung capacity that we have, and then exhaling and releasing, using the exhale to release any tension, any heaviness, any tightness or stiffness in our bodies. We'll do a couple more breaths like this, inhaling through the nose, and then letting it go with a gentle sigh through the mouth. And just really releasing what feels heavy. As we continue, I invite you to breathe into the area of the heart now. So allow the inhales and exhales to come in and out of the heart. And just feeling the gratitude for this beautiful organ that's keeping you alive without even noticing every single day of your life. And as you continue these heart-focused breaths, I now invite you to visualize someone that you're grateful for today. Living or past. Visualize this person as if they were right here in front of you. And I invite you to send them all the love, the gratitude, and the appreciation for being in your life. And on your next inhale, send that love, that gratitude and appreciation, send it back to you. Show yourself the same amount of love that often gets unnoticed and forgotten about, for being here, listening to this podcast, doing the work. On your next inhale, flutter your eyes open and come back to us. Thank you for participating in that quick coherence technique. So today's guest is someone who embodies what it truly means to lead with heart, humility, and purpose. Sam Ciccolini is the founding partner of Masters Insurance and a highly respected figure in the insurance industry and beyond. But beyond business, he is known for something far more meaningful, his unwavering commitment to people, community, and service. For decades, Sam has led with a deeply personal and collaborative approach, choosing to work alongside his team rather rather than above them, while staying closely connected to the needs of both his clients and his community. His impact extends far beyond the business world through his support of more than 80 charitable organizations and recognition with numerous distinguished honors, including the Order of Canada. Sam's life is a testament to what it means to give back and uplift others. At the heart of it all is a man grounded in family, resilience, and legacy. Someone who understands that true success is not just measured by what we achieve, but by how we show up and who we impact along the way. Sam, I am so grateful that you're here today. Welcome to the
Thank you
Self-Care
so
Goddess
much.
podcast. How are you?
Happy. I'm a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. So you've built an incredible career, but what stands out is your very personal and collaborative approach to leadership. Where did that philosophy come from?
So we've been in business now. It's actually 60 years.
Wow.
October the 1st this year, we'll have 60 years that my brother Frank and I opened the door to Masters Insurance.
Congratulations.
And we did it collaboratively under one aspect, that we were going to do it organically, which we did. We never purchased anyone. We never went to look for anyone. So all our growth, all our success has been all organically, alongside with 165 people that work with us and 6 offices. How did we get to there? I guess my mother would probably be the sergeant at arms, if you want to call her it that actually started us on this path. I had 5 brothers, no sisters, so you can just imagine what it was like at dinner time with 6 boys around the table, your dad and your mom. But my mom always kept us at bay, with my dad, obviously, the workhorse and the person that always provided. And from that beginning, we really found that their guidance, their upbringing, their way of doing things was really something that stuck with us and brought us to what we are today. So there were 6 of us. 1 unfortunately passed away. 5 of us remained. Every day we had a chore. Mine, because I was second from the last, I had the Tuesdays. So Tuesdays, I had to go and make the beds. I had to make sure the water was right. I had to make sure that the food was on the table. After the dinner, I was the one that washed the dishes, and my mother actually dried them. There was no such a thing as all these other fancy schmancy things that we have today, that all we do is throw it in there and just push a button. So those are the type of things that we really embodied exactly what we're all about, and the way we operate from 1956 that we came to Canada to today.
Wow. And do you find that those values, which are foundational, and I can definitely relate to those as well, coming from Italy when I was 8, and just really keeping those values and traditions, do you find that they're existing still today, or are they coming back? Because I know there's been a bit of from generation to generation, some of these values are no longer passed down. What are your thoughts in that?
Well, first of all, those values never left me. You can't be half pregnant, so you're either in all of it or you're not. And you also have to be of a mindset. And the reason why I'm all in, because right from the beginning, with our type of upbringing and the success of the upbringing, found that going backwards or taking another turn to doing something different wasn't going to be the avenue that we wanted anyways. So for me, I've never left that upbringing. I've never left that avenue. And it's always stuck with me to today.
And you attribute that to your success, as those foundational
Absolutely.
values. Yes. And do you find that you see them elsewhere in society, or not as much?
Not as much, but I tell you, I always try and promote them.
Yes.
But when we came from Italy, I don't have to say it because it happened to every family. we didn't have. We had a house that had one washroom, and we have 17 people in the same house. My brother and I, Max and I, slept in the same bed for a good time until some of the locals that were with us as boarders moved on. And then we got a little more space to ourselves to do what we had to do. But those are really base upbringings and base values of life that you can only bring them and continue with them if you've been through them. If you haven't, you will never know what it means or what it's all about. So.
For sure. But what my question is, a lot of these children now growing up, they would never experience what you experienced because of course, the luxuries that we have today. So would you attribute the success or maybe even the hunger to succeed because of that upbringing?
I don't think that today's youth is hungry enough. That's to begin with. And then they've never gone through some of the stalwarts or stalemates or some of the problems that we had. I mean, people say to me that there's racism. If you ever have 4 or 5 hours, I'll tell you about racism when we came from Italy.
Right.
So it's not, but you see, to me, that word, because I'm an immigrant, I attributed all this and even to the youth today. If you haven't been through all those problems, if you haven't been through all those avenues that you had to actually extrapolate and be better, or get yourself oriented to become part of Canada rather than Italian and then Canada, they don't have all that. Today, everybody that's 17 years old has a car. Everybody's got a cell phone at 5 or 6. Like, I didn't see a phone till I was 12 years old. We didn't have one. It's very simple. And then we had a dial phone to begin with. There was no such a thing. So today, perhaps maybe having too much, and I don't blame them because it's not their fault totally either. It's also our own fault and society's fault that we have all this stuff. And youth today didn't go through what you and I did while we were growing up. And perhaps maybe I can't attribute the fault to them, but maybe to ourselves.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. So how can we instill those same values without the hardship that we went through, for example?
You can't.
You can't.
It's impossible. Unless the person wants to do it.
Yeah.
And unless the person has a frame of mind that they have a goal. So most young people don't set goals. I'm 82 years old and I still set goals. Because I honestly believe that goals will give you a reason to not only to exist, but to keep on going.
That's true.
I like this week I set my goals. I need to contact at least 3 new people.
Wow.
I just did what this morning, and I will. The other 2 will come easy now.
For
you
sure.
ask a young person if they have a goal, they say, "What's that?"
Right.
That's the problem.
So where's the gap? I know we said we can't blame them entirely. So where's maybe not the blame, but where should we be looking for that direction? Is it the parents?
Our educational system sucks. Okay.
Yeah.
Because if they don't teach them the basis,
life skills,
they will never ever be able to even endure them if that's the case. And they're so pampered now. Like, guys, give me a break.
Yeah. And it's interesting. You remind me of a quote. At 89 years old, Michelangelo says, "I'm still learning." So
every day.
Quite fascinating.
Every single day.
Yes, yes. And also, Sam, one of the blue zones or all of the blue zones, the number one is that they have a reason to get up in the morning. And that's why they want to live and extend their life, right? Because they have a reason to get up in the morning, and that's that purpose. And you achieve you get to that purpose by having goals, right? So I agree with having goals to really guide you like your North Star, right? And if you don't have that, you kind of just drift through life. And
Very true.
that's very dangerous. So in terms of what is your opinion on mistakes, on making mistakes or maybe doing something that didn't work out the way you wanted it to? Are those needed in life? Are they essential? Are they something that, we must kind of face and go through because with mistakes comes learnings? So
The key
I'm
to
curious.
mistakes is you learn from them, and you may make them once, twice, learn from them and not make it again.
Hmm.
I make mistakes every day. Even after 60 years in business,
Mm-hmm.
you learn to make sure that once you recognize the actual mistake that you made, that you learn from it, you correct it, and you pass it on to others that may make the same mistakes so that they're in sync to not making it. And that's the key.
Yes, I agree. I agree. So, and part of that is also how you bounce back from those mistakes, right? And that has to do with resilience. So, how do you stay resilient? What are some tips you can give us to stay resilient and not to give up and to just keep going? And part of it, of
Um,
course, is character.
I think everybody should look at a dictionary and look at the word no, and no, don't find it. Because
Mm,
there's no such a thing as no in life. If
mm,
you have a great attitude, if you really want to be someone,
mm,
yourself first, because that's the most important, and then you give that to the next person. I always smile for me is tantamount. Laughter is tantamount, and 99% of the time saying yes is the key to what you just asked me.
okay. So then you build that resilience through those yeses.
Positive attitude, positive thinking, positive way of doing things.
Yeah.
I could look at I could look at your hair and it's a little bit red, a little bit brown. I could say, oh my God, that's no, I think it's amazing.
Mm.
I just said something that other people say, "Yeah, are you serious?" No,
Yeah.
I yeah, why not?
And so do you find this positive mindset? Is it something that you're born with or you something you can develop? So is it nature
No.
versus nurture or
Well,
how does
so
it work?
you know yourself coming from Italy and coming from a small town of 900 people, didn't have a pot to piss in, didn't have running water, didn't have you had to go to an outhouse to go to the washroom, didn't have a stove, didn't have heat. So all this gives you character that nobody will ever be able to do unless you go through it.
Mm,
And so having done that through the actual upbringing that we've had, etc., you actually do that with those backgrounds that you bring with you, and you change them to positive thinking, positive ideas, and positive way of doing things.
So you can teach someone to be positive.
I do it every day.
How do you do
People
that?
say to me, people
Yeah.
say to me, how can you be so positive? I said, well, what do you want me to do? Start crying?
That's true. Yeah, I like that. And
So,
yeah, and also you exude confidence too, not just positivity, it's
yeah.
confidence as well. So let's
Look,
talk a little bit about confidence.
confidence
It,
attracts confidence, and confidence also attracts people that want to be confident. Confidence attracts people that want to make things happen. Confidence attracts to 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 learn, to give back if you're successful. And I've done this all my life, and I'm not going to stop now at 82. So
yes, for sure. How important is it to surround yourself with the right people?
Well, first of all, it's not that easy
Mm.
because we get resumes here every day. If you base it on resume, you would have an all-star team of all-stars. Then all of a sudden they start working and you say, oh my God, that's not what she put on her resume.
Yeah.
She said she knew how to do that, but she says she has to learn or she has to take a course.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the pitfalls, I think, in that type of situation. But if you really believe in the power of actually exerting yourself as a positive thinker, people will actually be attractive and in a way that they want to be better, and not necessarily better than me, because I'm not better than you or anyone else. I'm just trying to be a plain Joe that makes things happen, and let's make things happen together, which is really important.
Yes, yes. And that brings me to my next question. When you talk about being alongside the team as opposed to over the team, how important is that as a leader to have that philosophy or
So
leadership
the
style?
first thing we do when we in actually we when we have people for interviews, first
Mm-hmm.
thing I tell them, and says, by the way, you won't be working for me or
Mm-hmm.
for Masters Insurance. You're going to be working with us.
Mm, I like that.
I get that smile. I get a smile off the bat, and I said, "What's so funny?" He says, "Well, not too many people say that." I said, "Well, I'm not your boss. You're your own boss. You
Yes.
have a job to do. Do it as best as you can. Go home happy after 5 o'clock. I don't want you to be here after 5. I
Mm,
want to make sure that you have an hour lunch, 2 breaks if you want to take breaks, and then be happy coming to work and going home happy."
yeah, of course. I mean, you're talking my language here. As I mentioned offline, my background is in human resources, and a happy employee equals a happy customer, right? So, and also the way you treat your employees is a reflection of your values and
Without a doubt. So this
right?
morning we went to see a large company with 1,000 people in their midst, employees. Like there were 6 of us.
Mm,
And actually the fellow that we went to see says, well, I'm surprised you brought your team. I said, well, that's how we operate.
mm,
And
beautiful.
I did say to him, I'm not Lone Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
Because I said to him, even Lone Ranger needed Tonto. He started laughing. I said, so Natasha, Natalie, Michael, Dominic, myself, here we are. This is your team that's going to be looking after the business that you have. We need you to ask us all the questions that you have. And if we're up to the standards of what you need, then you will be lucky and fortunate to do your business. If not, we're going to shake hands, and hopefully when I meet you, I can still smile and say thank you for giving us the opportunity.
Mm. And sometimes it's a not now kind of thing. It's not a no, it's a not now, right? You just never
Hey,
know.
not everything happens when you want.
Yeah, it's true. I learned that very, very early on for sure.
Yes.
So what would you say is your greatest leadership trait as a leader that you have?
I think positive, showing them that I set a certain standard for myself.
Mm,
I tell people all the time, if you're going to be 15 minutes late, you're better enough. You're better off not to go to work,
mm,
because
mm-hmm,
if you do that many times, you disrespect the people that do want to start on time, disrespect yourself, and disrespect the job that you're doing.
mm.
There are parameters, you know, that's the way it should be. You got to follow them.
Right, right, right. And so you've achieved so much success at the highest levels in business, also community. We'll talk a little bit more about that. How has your definition, I'm curious, of success evolved over the years? Maybe we can start when you first started. What did that mean? And now, then sort of in the middle, and now, what does success mean for you now?
Success for me is achieving a goal that you set for yourself, making sure that the dollars that come in and the dollars that go out don't hamper you in a negative way. Make sure that the people that work with you are happy. Like I always bring people in here and I say to them, I saw you this morning, you weren't very happy. Well, you know, this, I said, okay, well, why don't you talk to Angela and fix it? So I get that, and I think that's one of the great aptitudes that I bring into the equation and into our business.
So you basically understand that people are people. They're human beings, not just a number, not just a position or a bum on the seat, right? There's more
Absolutely.
to that. And
Yeah.
if you can recognize that, then they will do so much. They will give back,
Yeah.
100-fold. And speaking of giving back, you've supported, as I mentioned in your introduction, over 80 charitable organizations. That's why you're super busy, always going
Yes.
to gala and events. That's why I'm
Time
so
change.
grateful
Yes.
that you're taking the time to do this with us today. So it is pretty extraordinary. What drives that level of commitment to give back? Why do you do what you do?
I just love people. I love being around people. I love different type of people. I can talk to some of my friends that are different color that I am, and they're closer than close. I can talk to older people that at their level. Um, Go and visit people, and if they don't speak Italian or English and they speak Italian, speak their language instead of trying to bastardize something that they won't understand.
Yeah.
Um, Other than that, you know what? Live your life as the way you want to live it. Don't. I've always said this, and I said this to my grandchildren. Don't let anyone define who you are or what somebody wants you to be who you are not.
Powerful.
Oh, no, no, boy, that's a mouthful. I said, well, you should write it and always think about it. Because somebody, if you're going to let somebody define who you are, you're in trouble even before you start.
Yes. But how, so this is great advice, but how, because society just, especially now with these phones and these Instagrams and Facebooks and TikToks, like we're so distracted. What are some tips to stay focused so that we can stay connected to who we truly are authentically? What are some tips you can maybe, what do you give
For
your
me,
grandchildren?
setting goals, making sure that you do things on time. If part of your job at where you are is to make coffee in the morning, don't let that be something that is beneath you. It's a job. When I come in at 7:30 every morning, first thing I do, I go and make a pot of coffee. People say to me, "Oh wow, somebody Sarah must have been here already." He said, "Yep, Sarah is me." So
Yeah.
I'm just saying is, yeah, if you set your goals, if you set certain standards and you follow them and you follow them as a norm, people will see that.
Yeah.
People will see that if I have my hair always, you know, messed up instead of nice and neat. If I come messed up with my hair, I'll bet you everybody will say, Sam, didn't you comb your hair this morning? So I'm just saying is, if you do your standards every single day, that makes you a better person or a person who you are, follow it.
Yes, I
Makes a
love that.
world of difference.
I love that. I always like to say that how you do one thing is how you do everything. So
That's
from the minute you wake up, how making your bed, the way you make your bed, the way you leave your room, right, is how you're going to come into the office, and your desk is going to look very similar, I bet, to how your room is, or your
without a doubt.
house. Right? Yes. So what's an advice if somebody's listening and you have 165 employees? How do you stand out so that you can capitalize on those opportunities when they open up? What would you recommend to someone
Our
to do?
receptionist is just as good as I am.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just as good as the person in the claims department. And the person that assists our highest CSR, which is customer service rep.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I can sit beside her and chit chat, shoot the crap all day long. It won't be beneath me to do it.
Mm.
And I really promote that. Whenever I see someone, for example, having their lunch at their desk, the first thing I say to them, what is that? Why don't you go in the lunchroom? There's 17 other people. Like, no, shoot the shit. Tell people what you did last night. I mean, do whatever you like, but it's easier. It's more affable. You're sociable. You might learn something. Oh, yeah.
I agree. I
So
agree. Yeah, one of my 6 pillars of self-care, which could be foundational of health and longevity, is authentic connection, not only to yourself, but to others, right? We're
absolutely,
human beings,
yes.
we want to
First,
be, we need, exactly. Yes, we need that
first,
connection. I agree. I agree.
and
So
then every once in a while, you know what I tell people?
uh-huh.
Pinch yourself. See if you're still alive. And they said, what do you mean? I said, pinch yourself, because sometimes people don't think you're still alive. Be yourself.
Yeah, I know, but why is that so hard? For most of us, we're wearing masks, right? We're sort of
Don't get me
hiding who
wrong.
we.
You know what? I'm not 100% the all to end all. I have my own faults. I have my 5 seconds. However, I try not to get them to override my actual life. There are some time, but if I recognize that I've said something that I shouldn't have, the first thing I do is I apologize,
Nice.
and that goes a long way. People all of a sudden say, "Oh, wow,
Yeah. Yeah.
like he's the president of Masters Insurance. He's my boss," and I tell them all the time, "I'm not your boss.
Mhm.
There's only one boss: yourself and you."
Yeah. Yeah. It is definitely what I'm hearing is stay humble no matter what number
Yeah,
you reach, because that gets you far, a long way. Just
I
really.
tell people, does it make you feel better that somebody tells you you're better than somebody else? Doesn't make me feel better. I'm still
What
the
I
same
found.
person.
Yeah, what I found too during disputes, let's say the person is up here, if you actually go over them, then they're going to just try to climb up, whether it's screaming or yelling or whatever it is. But if you actually come down, then they're going to feel silly that they're actually yelling at you. So there, you're going to actually bring down that energy, and you'll notice that you can come to a compromise a lot quicker. So how do you stay cool like a cucumber under pressure? Because I'm sure you've had very pressurized moments over these 60 years? How do
I
you, what,
don't
what
have
is your
time
trick?
to be I don't have time to be pressured, and I don't have time to have anxieties.
Okay, tell us more. What do you mean by that? When an anxious thought comes through, what do you do?
I take a deep breath like we did in the beginning,
Nice.
and I say, okay, this is not going to happen.
Right. Right.
And I
So,
tell people, what are you doing? I'm the same person. Or sometimes when people raise their voice, I says, excuse me, you know who I am? Yes, it's Sam. Well, I'm not a dog. Don't yell at me. Not necessary.
I love how you add humor into
Well,
everything.
if you don't,
I know.
you're going to be, then you're going to go on the dark side.
Yeah.
Hopefully, never have to go on the dark side. I was
Yeah.
on the dark side once and I never again. So, and the only dark side is when we lost our daughter. But you know what? God didn't want us to have her, and we move on. That's all. And we keep her alive all the time.
Yeah.
So,
I was actually going to ask a question that, of course, you've experienced great joy and profound loss in your life
absolutely.
when you lost your beautiful Christina. But
Yeah.
how are those experiences? How has that shaped the way you lead, you give back, you just show up in the world?
Yeah. Well, so that protrude around a 5 year ordeal, really, because we tried everything to get her into a bone marrow situation, and it didn't work out. However, what we found is because she was so spunky, she was so affable, she was so upright, always smiling, always laughing, always joking. We try to keep that alive.
Yeah.
And so whenever I do my stuff with some of the organizations, the first thing you'll see Christina's picture and an ad in the book that you go to with her picture and Christina's Ciccolini Fund. I do that every single time that I go out.
Mm.
And for me, she's no longer spiritually here, but for me, she's still around. So,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I believe in that big time for sure.
yeah.
And so I know that you're also very heavily involved in hockey and
Yes.
mentorship. Yeah. So what do you believe sports teaches young people?
Well, sports is two things. It teaches people to develop their skills, teaches people to develop mentally and physically. But there's an upside to that. The upside is if you think you're going to be better than the other person, that you're going to be making the grade faster than anybody else, it just doesn't happen. There aren't that many people that are on the level that they're so gifted that it doesn't matter whether they're going to a gym or not, that they're going to make the grade. Celebrini, Crosby, these type Marner, these type of people. They're gifted athletes from day number one. Hockey for me, I played it a little bit. I loved it, and then I got into the administration of it. And so in the Woodbridge area, we founded the Vaughan Kings. We founded City of Vaughan Hockey Association only because they didn't want our young people, and I can say it with you, mainly Italians at the time in the late 70s, mid 70s, late. Well, the Italians weren't really looked at that kindly in the Woodbridge area. You got to understand, they were a staunch Anglo-Saxon Seventh-day Adventist group. And so I'll just give you one and you'll laugh at this. I took my son, I went to Woodbridge Arena, signed them up. That Saturday morning, this lady by the name of Kathy Ainsworth comes up to me and says, "Oh, I notice your son really skates well. We're looking for other people to come into the forefront of the administration end of it." I said, "Sure, why not?" So I went to the first meeting, and the first meeting was in the Orange Hall. So picture this, a staunch Catholic going into an Orange Hall to a meeting. Okay, so for me it didn't matter, orange, white, yellow. For me, it's all the same, right? So we started the meeting, and so they went around and says, "Oh, we have a new member of our organization, and once we approve him, he's going to join our board." And this is a guy by the name of Al McLean. He says, "Would you tell us your name?" "My name is Sam Ciccolini. I live at 49 Fir Glen Ridge. I go to St. Margaret Mary Church, and my son go to St. Margaret Mary School." One of the guys says, "Sorry, sir, what was your last name?" "Ciccolini." He says, "Can you spell it?" "Okay, but you have to be quick now." I said, "Okay, this guy is going to." I said, "Are you ready, sir?" "Yes." Jones. Well, I had everybody in stitches because I spelled my name Jones.
Right,
In
right.
other words, like, does it matter that my name is Ciccolini, Jones, or Savoia?
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
Sam. I'm here to help. Like, would it be
Mm-hmm.
different if it was McLean?
Yeah.
Or you
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't have asked me if it was McLean. So
True.
that's why I say to you. So those are the type of things.
Mm-hmm.
With Christina's passing away, we also found that money is of could be an evil. Money could be an avenue of making things better.
Mm-hmm.
I found that if you're successful, and we've had the great fortune to have a great upbringing from a mother that was 4'1", but she was 7'9", giant,
Yeah.
if you can just imagine.
Yeah, I hear
And so
you.
those are the type of things.
Yeah.
Um, and so I found that perhaps maybe, and we do this every year in our organization here. We try and give back as much as we can,
Yeah.
and always promote that behind that there's also Christina,
Yes. Yeah.
and
Beautiful.
that's how we keep her alive all the time.
Yes, for sure. And so tell us a little bit more about the organization, Christina's Fund. You're helping to fund what exactly?
So in 1986, we established the Christina Ciccolini Bone Marrow Foundation at Sick Kids.
Mm-hmm.
So the foundation, I don't tell anyone, I don't necessary, it's all my doing. And as of last December, there's probably about 1.4 million in that fund. And what we do every year is we get 2 or 4 doctors to do research in bone marrow.
Mm.
The fellow that found the gene that made Christina's bone marrow faulty was Emmanuel Backwald. Emmanuel Backwald found the gene, and now 70% of all the kids that with Fanconi's anemia live today,
Wow.
which is incredible.
Yeah.
But every year we hire 2 or 4 doctors from overseas. Like this year, we have one from India, one from Israel. They come at Sick Kids.
Mm-hmm.
All they do all day long is research bone marrow.
Wow.
We pay them an
Mm-hmm.
amount that Sick Kids establishes, depends on their career and how much they are worth, and they get paid. They get room and board from Sick Kids, and they're here for a year,
Wow. Mm-hmm.
and so that lives on. There are certain situations where there are kids that need a bone marrow transplant where they can't afford it. They bring it up to the board. The board says, okay, or say kids okays it. They pay for that for the actual transplant. Transplants today can run anywhere from $90,000 to $300,000.
Yeah, very expensive.
They're very expensive. So those are the type of things that make me feel really, really good about giving back, about being part of that community. Again, though, you see, I'm just telling you this. You're probably the 10th person that I tell all this. We try not to. It's not necessary. People will find out anyways,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and then they ask the questions, and I don't have a problem answering the questions. So
Yeah. And that just goes back to the humbleness, right? Just staying
yeah.
humble about it because people will find out regardless, right? So speaking of your son as well, and now he's second generation partner in the business.
Yes.
So what does that mean to see that continuation of legacy within your family? How does that make you feel?
So we almost forgot about Michael for 5 years.
Mm.
From 80 to 85, he almost single-handedly lived with my mother while we were going all over the world trying to get Christina with a bone marrow,
Right.
and we couldn't find anyone. Michael is a byproduct of great upbringing. Again, a lot of my mother's stuff with him. Um, we were very kind to him so that it was that kind of that closeness to the family. He's a workhorse. He loves working. He loves what he does. We have three great, beautiful grandchildren. Eric is 25 now. He's a graduate of Clarkson and Michigan.
Wow.
Yeah, he went 4 years to Michigan, 2 years to Clarkson. He's now doing 1 year of learning the insurance business, and hopefully the September the 1st he's going to come back.
Nice.
Yeah, Christina is into psychology at Guelph Humber, second year, and Jacqueline is at Chulet for the first year. She's very, very bright. So those are the joys of having. Michael is, he's made the grade. He's already been here for almost 28 years, and really taking the bull by the horn and starting to do things that I've done for the 60 years of our existence.
So you're very proud of him.
Yes, very much.
Of course.
And he's got a beautiful wife. If it wasn't for her, they wouldn't have such great, beautiful children.
Yeah.
She's just an amazing lady, and thank God they get along. There's no problems. Yeah, everything seems to be sinking into the right direction.
Right. And it's important. It's, again, surrounding yourself with those right people and that support, that network, right? That can help you set you up for success, for sure. Because it's not just one person, as you mentioned, right? You don't do it alone. There's that support group with you.
But I also try not to protrude some sort of, power. Try not to protrude that you're in another level. For me, that's beneath me anyways. And I think less of people that try to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, and there for sure is, again, what their upbringing too, and what they saw. Sometimes we do these things unconsciously. We don't even know we're doing this, but it's what we saw in our parents, and then we kind of take that on, right? We're almost programmed, right? And some people do it because of a lack of confidence. There's plenty of reasons why people don't stay humble.
Some grandchildren never call their grandparents.
I know. Yeah.
Our grandchildren, if it isn't 3, 4, 5 times a week, that they're either texting or coming over to see how we are.
Yeah.
For us, that's what more can you ask?
Exactly. Again, that reason, that purpose to
Oh my
be
God.
alive, to keep going, right? To watch them grow up.
I tell people all the time, we won the lottery 3 times.
Yes, yeah. So looking back on your life and everything you've built, contributed to, everything you experienced, what matters most to you now, Sam?
So, I mean, being married to Donna for 58 years, that's been almost 59. So, you know what?
Wow.
Yeah. It hasn't gone without its quirks, because people that tell you it's a perfect to stay, they're just lying to you, actually.
So what's your secret after 59 years?
Well, you bite your tongue a little bit. Close your eye every once in a while. Close your ear every once in a while. God gave us 2 things. One mouth and 2 ears.
Yeah.
Listen and keep your mouth shut.
Yes, yeah. Or choose the battles. No, not all.
Choose the battle and not all of them. Yeah. So being married to Donna for 58 years, and I tell everyone all the time, if we were the same character, we'd be married for 58 minutes.
So opposites attract then for you.
Very much. That family obviously means everything. Going home every night to have dinner, and being in the same house, sleeping in the same bed with your wife. Listen, that to me, that's means everything, means a lot. And that's got, that's protrude down to my son, and hopefully my grandchildren.
Yeah.
Right. You know, if you can do that, hey, I feel sorry for people that unfortunately have had their misfortune of not having this type of lifestyle or life.
Mm.
But you know what? As much as you feel sorry, then you make your own luck.
Yeah.
And hey, not everything goes my way.
Yeah.
So
So tell
maybe
us a little more
maybe
about that.
10 years ago, I would have fought it a little bit different. Now, I give in. I said,
Yeah.
okay, no problem. It's just easier.
Tell us a little bit about luck, because I'm a big proponent of you create your own luck. Because people have said to me,
Yeah,
"Oh, you're so lucky. You were in Dubai. You did this. You did that." But I worked for it too. It didn't come. Nothing came to me on a silver platter. Nothing. I had to work for everything that I've done, and you become open to opportunities because you're out there and trying things and meeting people and listening to people and all that. So tell us a little bit more about creating your own luck. What does that mean?
you do things with one thing in mind, not to gain.
Mm.
Once you've done it, and let it be, let it alone. You give and it comes back to you tenfold. Try and do harm and you're just harming yourself, because at the end of the day, nobody will look at you. So luck to me is doing things and leaving it, um, making sure that you do the proper thing,
Mm-hmm.
and when you come into work, try and be mindful of everybody else that's around you,
Mm-hmm.
because that protrudes into people working harder,
Mm-hmm.
doing things that they normally wouldn't do. They wouldn't have a bad portion of their body that doesn't want to do what they're supposed to do. And
Mm-hmm.
there's your luck.
Mm-hmm.
So it comes on its own.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing with, I tell my grandchildren all the time, keep doing what you're doing. You're working at Cataldi's, well, go and work at Cataldi's. You're working at, the hospital as a volunteer. Do the best you can. 2 years from today, when you meet someone on the street, this is to Christina, just yet, they'll say, oh, Christina, oh my God, I remember you from Villa Colombo. God, you were so nice. If they didn't like you, trust me, they'd say, oh, there's that shitty little girl that was at Villa Colombo.
Yeah, exactly,
So
exactly. So
you
true.
make your own luck.
Mm-hmm.
Give
So,
and it'll come back.
yes. So, being where you are now, what's an advice that you would give, a piece of advice you'd give a younger version of you, knowing what you know now?
Work as hard as you can, as long as you can. Don't worry about the money as long as you make ends meet, because at the end of the day, you're going to become a person that you look back and you say, oh, wow, that was all worth it.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, Sam, is there a piece of advice that you've been given in your life that you still hold true today? It's still very impactful for you.
Always try to do your best.
And who said that to you? Do you remember?
Absolutely. My mother.
Mine too. She says
Work
that.
hard,
Yeah.
do your best, try not to hurt anyone, try not to hurt anyone's feelings, because the minute you do that, they'll look at you in a different light. If you give them some advice where they savor it, they come back or they tell the next person, oh, wait, you know what Sonia said, or you know what Rita said? Wow, that really stuck into my head.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And that's
And
beautiful.
those are the type of words
Is
that,
there a common advice you tend to give people? Is there something common that you tend to give people?
so my grandmother on my mother's side,
Mm-hmm.
so I used to always sit on her lap and pull her ears, her earrings.
Mm.
I mean, I think every once in a while, every one of us has done that.
Yeah,
And
it's true.
so I asked her one day, Nonna, what made you and Nonno be where you are. And she said it, there's three words: honesty, integrity, and hard work.
Mm.
You can't go wrong.
Yeah.
You never have to look back.
Mm-hmm. And you'll always be remembered by that too. And speaking of
Absolutely.
which, what is your legacy, Sam? What do you want to be known for? What you want your three grandkids to know you as or for? Or
Just
maybe
a
even if it's
plain Sam Ciccolini that tried to do everything right, and sometimes he didn't, and that happens. But he also corrects them when he doesn't.
yeah.
So that's really another avenue that people have to be mindful of.
Mm-mm.
And then, be yourself.
Mm-mm.
Don't be, I can't be Rita Savoya. It's impossible. I don't have curly hair, don't have any hair, so I can't be you. However, from what I protrude from this podcast, your smile, I'm going to tell everybody, she's got a smile that's infectious. And it's true. So those are the type of things. If you want to be remembered, yeah. If you do good things, they'll remember the good things. Do bad things, and they'll just curse you.
Yeah, they'll remember those too. Maybe they'll remember it even
In
more.
a bad way.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So this is called the self-care
Yeah.
podcast, right? So how do you take care of yourself? What are the three things that, let's say, you do on a daily basis that helps you to stay grounded, energized, helping you to have the energy that you have?
I had a bad experience in 1963
Mm-hmm.
with alcohol. I never, ever, 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 ever touched a drink since.
Wow. Not even
I'll
a
have a
glass of
little bit of
wine.
wine,
Okay.
but I leave half of it on the glass. So I've never drank in my life.
Okay.
I try not to overexert myself with, although I love food.
I know. I know.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
people let me say, "Oh, are you going to be around tomorrow?" I say, "Well, thanks a lot. I know I'm around. You don't have to tell me."
That's funny.
So
So, okay,
that's
so no alcohol, food, you're
no
very,
alcohol,
yeah, you
food. You got to
watch
be
the food.
careful.
Yeah,
Be
I agree.
careful.
Of
Like
course.
everything that's white, boy, you got to be careful. But
Mm,
now I know. I
mm,
mean, growing up, we never had white bread. We had cornbread.
right.
Now it's
Yeah,
a delicacy. At
I
that time,
know.
it was your way of life.
Interesting, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
We
those are
call them,
those things.
yeah, the three white devils, right? In nutrition
Yeah,
school, the sugar,
sugars,
refined though, because if the salt, if it's just
100%.
sodium, but if it's Himalayan salt and Mediterranean sea salt, of course it's good because it's got the other minerals. And then the white
Absolutely.
flour because it's bleached,
Oh,
yeah, it's processed basically. And the body doesn't know what
but
to do with
you
it.
say to Donna, do you have to make the gnocchi with white? She says, well, what are you going to eat them?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but
You
it's okay.
have
Look, once in a while, as long as it's good
everything in
farina,
moderation
Yes, I agree. I always tell my clients 80-20. It's not what
and
you do
is what.
20% of the time. It's actually what you do 80% of the time that really matters, right? It's that
And then I
consistency, that discipline.
try and discipline myself with sweets because that really, I'm also a diabetic, so that really doesn't fare well with the
Yes.
diabetes.
Uh-huh.
Anyways, those are all things that if you are disciplined at it, you'll
Mm-hmm.
leave 82 years and you never had to see the inside of a hospital.
Beautiful. That's so nice. Okay, allora, so no alcohol or very little, then the food that you watch, and what's the third thing that you would say helps you to stay, in shape mentally, emotionally, physically that you do?
Work,
Yeah.
telling you that it keeps my mind sharp,
Yeah. It's purpose, right? Mm-hmm.
and and you learn every day. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I also have to tell you, people that love to have a drink, have a smoke, I'm okay with that too. Like you can't tell people what to do. I always say it. If that's what you like, you should do it. do it in moderation, because otherwise it'll kill you. So
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? People have their own journey and they'll realize it on their
you
own
can't
time.
tell people what to do. At least I don't.
I
I try to
stopped
tell our
giving.
people here, nobody
Yeah.
should tell you what to do or how to do it.
Yes, because then it's not going to go very well if you give unsolicited
Never
advice.
does.
Agree. This was so beautiful, Sam. Thank you so much
You're
for your
welcome.
time. Thank you for the beautiful insights. Thank you for sharing your journey, for being vulnerable at some moments as well, and
Thank
sharing
you
your
so
life.
much.
And just it just goes to show us that it's really not about like the accolades and the rewards and the
Oh,
success. It's more about the lives that we touch by how
no
we act,
question.
how we stay humble, and you're just exude that. So exude positivity,
Thank you.
confidence. I'm so grateful that our paths have crossed and that you have made time for us today. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, and congratulations on a great podcast.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you for tuning in to the Self Care Goddess podcast. If today's episode inspired you, share it with another woman who's ready to reclaim her vitality and lead from within. To continue your journey, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and connect with me on ritasavoya.com. Until next time, remember, self care isn't selfish, it's your superpower. Take a deep breath in, exhale, and keep rising. Ciao for now.